Good morning and welcome to the C-Suite at the Interview series. I'm Monica Ham, Client Success Specialist here at the TMX in Vancouver. I have with me today Tony Reda from Tectonic Metals. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Monica.
It's great to meet you too, finally. Before we get started, would you be able to just tell us a bit about your approach to the ESG issues and how you incorporate these into your business model?
Okay, well, I guess from the Tectonic perspective and myself personally, if I can speak on behalf of the company, when we actually formed the company, we started with the most important aspect, and that's the people. And there's a common thread between all of our experiences where we actually looked at all the challenges that mining projects face, whether in the exploration phase or actually in production. And we try to reverse engineer and tackle those issues at the forefront so they don't become a major issue or roadblock in the years ahead. So the next step was building this business model. And instead of just focusing on the geological aspects or the geological opportunity project, we really focused on that risk side of things, and with that came an appreciation for ESG, the people, the environment, the social aspects, the governance side. So it started right at the foundation of the company, and in conjunction with that was our core values of the company. So okay, what do we want? Who are we? What are the values that drive us? What's important to us, not just on the personal side, but also on the business side? And how do we incorporate that into the aspects of the company and the business model? So that was our approach, initially starting at the foundation and then applying it to every aspect going forward.
Okay, great. Now, engagement with Indigenous peoples is extremely important. And you have lots of experience with this. What do you think people get wrong when they approach ESG, especially on matters with engaging with Indigenous peoples?
This is anytime you ask someone what other people do or what they get wrong, I'm trying to put myself in someone else's shoes. And yes, there's a bit of empathy there, trying to understand the situation. But at the same time, I get a bit nervous because I don't have all the facts that they may have. From an observer perspective, what I see, especially with the junior mining or the early stage exploration companies, is that sometimes it's not even an item of focus. It's just not even in their bandwidth. Never mind that they don't have bandwidth, i.e. time and capital to deal with it, but they're just not present to it. It's also what I've encountered through various experiences. It's kind of like the approach is kick the can down the road. And, we'll deal with it when we have a discovery. We'll deal with it when we're permitting. We'll deal with it, so basically in the future. And I think that approach, and it's evidence, especially now as of late, of the last few years, that, early engagement is important. So going back to our business model, and what we do is we don't acquire a property until we do our research, we do our due diligence. We don't want to go into an area that's environmentally sensitive. We don't want to go into an area where the local communities don't want mining. So I think a lot of companies get it wrong is A, it's just not in their bandwidth, and B, that they don't have the time and the capital to make it a priority, and C, they probably take we'll deal with it later type of approach, and that can backfire, because when you actually find something meaningful, you want everything to align and make it as streamlined as possible. And I think it can get quite hairy and just delay things and become even more costly if you don't deal with it at the forefront.
Absolutely. And sometimes smaller companies or junior companies like Tectonic tend not to put as great an emphasis on ESG factors. And so why do you do this, and what are your thoughts for adopting this approach more broadly among smaller players?
Well, the reason why we do it is because we start with the end in mind. So we're not a drill bit play. We're not here to, get our stock from 20 cents to 50 cents. Although that would be great. We're focused actually on finding a mine. So if you actually start with the end in mind, and you have to adopt this mindset. So when you're playing big and focused on actually delivering a mine, you have to make it a priority. So that's our approach. Secondly, I would say it's just the right thing to do. I want our experiences in the jurisdiction to be positive, and I want the people, when someone mentions Tectonic or even our shareholders, that they actually have a smile on their face and they can speak proudly and passionately about what we're doing.
Okay, yeah, good answer. Tectonic has taken a strong stand against racism as part of ESG, and you released a statement, and you also have insisted that your employees undertake anti-racism training. What motivated you to take this path, and how has it been received by your shareholders?
Okay, well, yeah, great question. I guess what motivated me is there were some past experiences that, I just, again, didn't feel right about that. The racial incidents that unfolded in North America as of late kind of brought it to the surface. And I was actually driving home one day. I had my 3 kids in the back of the truck, and we're driving from school home. And my youngest daughter, who was 9 years old, heard about the George Floyd incident, and she asked me blatantly, she goes, "Dad, what's racism?" And I had explained to my 9-year-old what it was. And then I thought, I had a conversation with my chairman, who is of Indigenous descent. And I asked him, I'm like, when do the scales tip where we actually have to make this a priority? And he said, we should have made it a priority from day one. And so we did, we have elements of it when we started the company, but it forced us to really look in the mirror and say, okay, our job is to find a mine, but, in the corporate world, and especially someone with the TSX and all these publicly listed companies, I think we forgot that we're humans. And, kindness and caring and love and compassion and equality and diversity, this is like the foundation, I think, for just being a good human. So why not, for us, work and our personal lives, it's kind of a blurred line. It's one and the same. Tectonic is me, and I am Tectonic, and I'm a dad and other things as well. But you can't really, be this great human being at home and be this like capitalist driven, bottom line focused CEO and just say, forget about everything else. So, we try to incorporate and integrate both items. And for us, being good citizens and being good humans is a priority. So why would work be any exception? Why isn't it incorporated is what I would ask to anyone else. So we started with ourselves, and we're still, no one's perfect, and we're continuing to improve how we operate and our policies. So we revamped everything, and we're making, more stronger statements, stronger policies, and also just making it mandatory. We want to make sure that everyone is aligned with those core values of our company. And I guess just being a good human is extremely important to us.
Definitely. I find it interesting the way that is aligning with the core values, the ultimate core values of Tectonic. Tony, thank you so much for being with us today. Just can you remind us what your website is and where we can go to find more information, and also what your ticker symbol is?
Most definitely. So we do trade on the TSX Venture Exchange. The symbol is TECT. Our website is www.tectonicmetals.com. We have an email address, info@tectonicmetals.com. And feel free to reach out with any questions or comments you may have. And thank you, Monica, for the opportunity to speak with you today.
Thank you so much for being with us.